So this is going to be a nice and short review here of SmackDown because tonight's episode of SmackDown was pre-taped. It was pre-taped this Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night, whatever the case was, in London, because obviously they were in London this past weekend before their big Saudi Arabia trip that they're going to have tomorrow night for Night of Champions. And really, when you break it down, there really wasn't much on this show as far as actual substance, especially when this is a pre-taped show, when their eggs are not entirely all in one basket. So I'm just going to mention one or two things here. The first thing that I want to mention here was tonight we officially saw the breakup of the MFTs. I know everybody is devastated by this fact that the MFTs are no more, that we're no longer going to be seeing Solo Sikoa along with Tamatanga and Talatanga along on our television screens. They wrote them off in the sense of like, Tama and Tala were upset that Solo Sikoa is focusing heavily now on the Roman Reigns drama with the Bloodline, and now that Solo is heavily involved with that once again, they're kind of in a sense not rocking with it, and they told him we're out. Which to me kind of, I don't want to speak morbidly here, but I think to me that kind of, how WWE is with cutting these people as far as cutting their contracts and as far as releasing them. So I'm not saying necessarily that I want this to happen, but I'm saying necessarily that I wouldn't be surprised now if you see in a few days from now or in a few weeks from now that, the MFTs are no longer there, because they got rid of half of the MFTs before the storyline was even over, before they even, did this whole breakup angle here tonight. They got rid of JC Mateo and Tonga Loa before all that was said and done. So now Solo Sikoa is literally solo, and they had a segment here with LA Knight confronting him, kind of, asking him why he helped him on Monday night. And Solo claimed that he hates the entire bloodline, he hates the entire family, and that all he wants to do and all he wants to see is them go down. So now you kind of have to ask the question, what's going to happen with Solo? Is Solo going to go back to the actual family? Is Solo going to recruit somebody else from the family, like a Zilla Fatu or somebody along those lines, and start up his new thing? Again, this is very much in the sense rehashed. Like, we've seen so many Bloodline Civil Wars that at this point it's like whatever they do isn't really going to matter in the end. But if you're into Bloodline lore 2026, then this is the show for you. And lastly, like I said, there's only one or two things I wanted to mention here on the show. Lastly, I want to mention the King of the Ring, I guess, final segment that they had here, the final closing shot, which was Obafemi confronting or standing tall, looking at Cody Rhodes. Again, this is the best way I could put it. You had all three guys here, Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Gunther, confronting each other ahead of tomorrow night's matchup. You have Jey Uso come out here. He attempts to run it back, and I don't know about you guys, but every time Jey Uso attempts to run it back, I sympathize with the heels, because the heels are immediately there to cut it off. That was Gunther. Once he cut it off, I was like, thank you, Gunther. You are the biggest baby face on the entire planet right now. And basically it was Jey Uso coming out here trying to give him the warning shot, get all these guys the warning shot as far as maybe I will challenge one of you guys at SummerSlam. And then Obafemi comes out here, and it's the same sort of thing here. He confronts all three guys, give you a possible sort of, match outcome for what you may see at SummerSlam. And at the end, the show ends with Cody and Oba staring at each other with the WWE Championship in the background. So again, they're kind of leaving you with the feeling of what's going to happen tomorrow night between Oba and Jay, because there's been a lot of reports as far as those matches for Night of Champions. Some of the results have already leaked as far as what they want, what WWE is planning to do. But regarding Oba and Jay, they're very much hush-hush. They're very much keeping their cards close to the vest there with what the result is going to be with that match. And again, I am very, very fearful, and I am very, very stressed considering what we've seen thus far with, I guess, the damage control, so to speak, that I've seen thus far online, with Triple H telling the fans to essentially stop complaining and just be fans. And when Triple H typically starts speaking like this, I know that trouble is along the way, that there is going to be some sort of a fuckery with the booking. So I would not be at all surprised if tomorrow night we saw King YEET emerge as King of the Ring.